How's it going, everyone? This is Christian Duke from StrengthAddicts.com, and I'm a little torn on how to title this video. One side of me wants to title it In Defense of Jim Manion. Another side wants to title it Arnold Should Be Ashamed of Himself. I realize that in the court of public opinion, everyone's going to be against me, or at least the vast majority. It's a place I'm all too familiar with, but you know what? It's a small price to pay because I know at the end of the day that I have spoke my piece. And I do that, wherever I am, to whoever I'm with. It's, because I really believe it's important to lay out all your cards on the table. And Arnold talks about respect for the person. And I want it to be very clear that I respect each and every IFBB pro that competes on an IFBB stage. Here we're talking about the Arnold Classic. I'm glad that Cedric took fourth. I would have been happy to see him third or second or first. I want to see Cedric do well. Cedric is a great guy. He has a great physique. He works really hard. I'm happy that he took fourth. Justin Compton is an equally good guy. I've sat down, I've talked to Justin Compton one-on-one. We've talked for, a good while. He's a great person. He's worked so hard to be where he is right now. And he's put in the time in the gym. He's put the time in with his sponsors, in the kitchen, going around the country, working booths. He's really come a long way. And he took third place, and he should be very proud of himself. And he's got a very nice physique, and I believe he'll be a future Mr. Olympia. Branch Warren. Branch Warren took second place at this contest. We are allowed to like physiques, and we're allowed to, like some physiques more than other physiques. Branch Warren has done everything under the sun with what he was given genetically. And he's been able to place second at the Mr. Olympia. He's been able to get 2 Arnold Classic victories. He's always sponsored. He's a great ambassador for the sport. He's a great person. And Dexter Jackson. Dexter Jackson's a Mr. Olympia. He's a 4-time now Arnold Classic champion. And he also has done everything possible for the sport. And he also is a great person. I respect all of the athletes. As Arnold says, he respects them. But I have to say that I don't agree with what Arnold said at this press conference or Q&A or whatever it was. To the people in the audience that were cheering and saying, oh yeah, and amen, and as Arnold was talking about change, I have to say that Arnold sounded a little reminiscent of Barack Obama, talking about this ambiguous change that was to come, and we need change and this and that. And I have to say, though, that when Arnold says that, he wants to see physiques up there that are reminiscent of Steve Reeves, and he doesn't want to see the stomach sticking out, and he wants to see more V-shaped physiques, and he doesn't want to see physiques that are bottle-shaped or bottle-shaped bodies, to me. And then when he says that the people in the audience and the people around the country, that whoever watches the video should effectuate that change by emailing and contacting judges. I went to law school, okay? And I only say that for the simple matter that I know a thing or two about judges. And you don't change things by harassing judges. Now, I know Arnold didn't say harass the judges, but that's exactly what's happening now. And I believe it's happening to the Manions, I believe it's happening to judges, and I believe it'll continue to happen in the future because I believe people feel as if Arnold has given them the green light. Irrespective of whether Arnold intended to do that or not, I think people are emboldened now to sort of harass and to disrespect and to carry on in such a way only because of what Arnold said. And I'm sure they're misinterpreting what Arnold said, but at the same point, Arnold said it. And he said that change needs to happen, and he also mentioned the name of Jim Manion. He, I believe, sort of called to question the veracity of his acceptance of a Lifetime Achievement Award, which I think is where part of me wants to title as Arnold Should Be Ashamed of Himself. Because in reality, the Arnold Classic is Arnold Schwarzenegger's namesake event. And it is, the second most important bodybuilding event in the world. In the opinion of some people, it may be as important as the Mr. Olympia. In reality, we know that's not the case. But again, to some people, it may be. But the reality of it is that Jim Lorimer does the lion's share of the work at the Arnold Classic. And Arnold is, it's his namesake show, and he rides around a little golf cart, and he waves at people, and that's great. But also, part of the reason why I wanted to title the video Arnold Should Be Ashamed of Himself is because when Arnold was doing the movies, Okay, when Arnold was with Sly doing Planet Hollywood, when Arnold was running for governor, during that whole time, Jim Manion was doing bodybuilding. Now Arnold is back, and not that he ever left, or not that he was ever there as a promoter. Okay, and he's come back, and he's got a new supplement line, and that's great for him. And he wants to take more of a lead. And me personally, I think this is a power play. Personally, I believe, politically, he's not born in the United States, so politically he can't run for president. He's probably not interested in being a senator. Again, most people that run for Senate do so with the aspiration of eventually running for president. But to just run for Senate and just sit there, I don't think he wants to be one of 100. I think he wants to be one of one. When you're a governor, you're the top guy. When you're a senator, your power is 1/100th. I don't think that's of any interest to Arnold. So I don't think politically there's anything for him. In the movies, yeah, he could continue making movies, but he's not going to have the same appeal that he did with the Terminator movies and the Predator movies. And I mean, I guess he could make, more Kindergarten Cops, that kind of movie, but I don't think he wants to do that. And so there's really, I don't know, bodybuilding is a nice sort of safe place to go. He's a god in bodybuilding. People, as you saw in this clip that's going around, when he mentions Jim Manion and his Lifetime Achievement Award, you hear like 3 people clap. Bob Cicherillo didn't clap, unless, I don't know, I from where I was sitting watching the video, it didn't look like he clapped. But, and this isn't against Bob. I've got nothing against Bob. Bob's a good guy. Bob does a good job. He's a good MC and all that. But I will say, again, I speak my mind, and I think Bob should have clapped. I think Bob should have said something as the athlete's rep and as someone that is, clearly high up in the organization. And even if he hadn't have said anything, and even if he hadn't have clapped, I take exception with him saying, quote, "well said," quote unquote, after that nonsense that Arnold was spewing about, the bottle-shaped bodies and the, change and calling into question Jim Manion's Lifetime Achievement Award and all these things. It was not well said. It was a load of crap, is what it was. But that's his prerogative. I'm not here to speak on Bob or to attack Bob or anything like that. I'm also not here to call into question the judging or the placings. I'm simply here to say that I think that Arnold should be ashamed of himself, that Arnold is a playboy bodybuilder, that Arnold does not do any real work in comparison to Jim Lorimer at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. And in reality, Arnold should sort of temper what he has to say. He could have said exactly what he said to Jim Manion after the show, or in private, or one-on-one. He didn't need to do it in front of the court of public opinion, because he should know that as Arnold Schwarzenegger, and having that kind of popularity and that kind of allegiance from fans, and we're talking through the generations. I mean, there might be 2-3 generations of people that idolize Arnold Schwarzenegger, and for him to say that about an official of the IFBB NPC, the leader of the IFBB in the United States, and the man that worked harder than anyone in cementing the NPC as the premier amateur feeder organization for the IFBB in the world, I think was disgraceful. And I don't think anyone is going to agree with me, except for a few people, and they'll do so privately. And I'm totally fine with that. And I would love to be able to go to the Arnold Classic again next year. I love the expo. I love Arnold. I think Arnold is a fantastic bodybuilder. He's a statesman. He is a great movie star. He was a great bodybuilder. But he does not have, in my opinion, the right to call into question someone that, in my opinion, has done more for bodybuilding on a grassroots and day-to-day basis than he has. So again, I'm just very I guess upset by this, and I think that more of the people that have been sort of vocal in years past about their loyalty to the organization and their loyalty to the people that have tirelessly and selflessly led the organization, I'm kind of at a loss for words, because it's easy to it's easy. I think it's easy to show your loyalty in a situation where your livelihood or possibly your fame or whatnot is not really at risk. For example, I think it's easy to say that you're loyal to the organization when the threat is Lee Priest. But it takes a lot more stones, a lot bigger stones, to say you're loyal to the organization when the threat is Arnold Schwarzenegger.